Mackenzie Johnston with Cattle News Central, bringing you your August 12th cattle industry headlines, brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. They manage your risk so you can manage your operation. They are the experts in educating, evaluating, and executing risk management programs for each individual operation while also providing top-notch customer service. Now is the time to be thinking about enrolling in the Pasture Rangeland Forage Program for the 2023 crop year. If you want to learn more about this, go ahead and reach out to Alex and Naya. He can set you up with a tracking policy so you can understand how the program works firsthand. Ag Risk Advisors, risks averted, legacies preserved. We are also sponsored by Circle 5 Cow School. If you're wanting to learn how to preg check your own cows or start AIing, Circle 5 Cow School is definitely the way to go. Almost every week they are hosting classes somewhere between Texas and Tennessee. They do a great job. To check out their schedule, head on over to their website, www.circle5cowschool.com. That is the number 5 in there, or you can go ahead and just give them a follow on Facebook. Reuters has reported JBS South America posted a nearly 10% drop in net profits to $755 million in its second quarter. The decrease stems from weakness in the meat giant's U.S. beef and pork units. JBS reported a 4.6% drop in revenue for its U.S. beef division, which is usually the company's cash cow. JBS also reported overall U.S. pork exports fell 17.7% due to a drop in demand from Canada, Japan, and China. But there was one bright spot for the meat giant here in America. JBS's Pilgrim's Pride saw sales increase by 18.3% to almost $4.4 billion. The cattle range has reported cattle producers have come together down in Amarillo, Texas to build producer-owned beef, a state-of-the-art beef processing facility. The facility will be opened by cattle producers and operated by beef processing industry veterans. The project received a big boost on Wednesday when it received the state's Texas Enterprise Fund, which is a grant of $12.232 million. Producer-owned beef's business model includes producers receiving wholesale beef prices for the cattle they supply and a share of the profits from the plant. The plant is expected to break ground in the first quarter of 2023, and the goal is to have the plant up and running by the fall of 2025. This update is also sponsored by 4T Ag Insurance, your go-to contractor for ag insurance. 4T Ag is owned and operated by Colt Tritt. He is a one-man show. He himself ranches, so he understands all the risks that go along with the livestock industry. 4T Ag, they offer LRPs on both fed and feeder cattle. They offer PRF insurance and just about any other insurance option out there. If you want to learn more, head on over to their website, www.4tag.net. That is the number 4, TAG.net. China Daily has reported Chinese scientists have bred a new cattle variety, Hoxxy cattle, which should break the country's reliance on importing beef cattle for breeding purposes. The scientists have been working on developing this new breed of cattle for the past 43 years. Last year, China imported 2.3 million metric tons of beef, accounting for a quarter of national consumption. China's cattle industry got off to a late start, and because of this, the cattle varieties which the Chinese developed aren't able to meet consumer demands. The country imports 70% of their cattle used for breeding, hindering the sustainable development of the industry. By 2025, 400 Hoxxy bulls are expected to be available for breeding each year, and that will cover 70% of the breeding stock in China. And obviously, they're hoping to get their cattle herd up and going, so they're not reliant on other countries for beef. The cattle range has reported the Farmer's Almanac recently released its 2022-2023 winter weather forecast, and it looks like this winter might just be a doozy. The coming winter months, they are expected to be quite cold with normal to above normal snowfall throughout the majority of the U.S. However, the southwest region of the United States, which as we all know has been dealing with ongoing drought conditions, they're expected to experience below normal moisture throughout the winter. The Farmer's Almanac is calling for quite a few weather disturbances this winter. The first major storm is expected to pass through the Rockies and across the plains during the first week of January. With that storm, there is good potential for heavy snow to reach as far as as far south as Oklahoma and Texas, followed by sweeping bitterly cold air. Then between January 16th and the 23rd, heavy rain and snow is expected to cross the eastern 2/3 of the country, followed by what might be one of the coldest outbreaks of Arctic air that we have seen in years. At this time, the Almanac is predicting temperatures to plunge to 40 degrees below zero here in the north central states. Definitely something to look forward to. And finally, according to Meeting Place on Tuesday, meat giant Cargill reported annual revenues climbed 23% year over year to a record of $165 billion in fiscal 2022. That is all I have for you guys this morning. That is all I have for you guys this week. You guys have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you next week.